an arc that I just never picked up. I never read. I didn't. It was sent to me.
Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen me before, my name is Chelsea and I write books about black girls who aren't all that nice. And I am back with another writing update vlog. So today is January 11th. It's a little after 5 a.m., which is much earlier than my normal time. I'm usually like a 7 or 8 o'clock girl, but I couldn't sleep. So I was just like, you know what? Instead of laying here, I am going to go ahead and get up. So as my previous writing vlog is rendering, I figured I'd go ahead and have this discussion because I have been exhausted and I'm like, it's only 11 days into the new year. And so if you follow me on Twitter, then you probably saw like this tweet talking about how I need to come to Jesus moment. And like, this is that moment, at least me talking about it on camera. And basically, something that you guys have to know about me is that I am so prone to overworking myself. I'm so prone to taking on so much because I'm like, it's not that I am incapable of doing things. It's just that I don't have time to do everything that I want to do. But there's a large part of me that's like, I don't know if I can do this myself. I would rather do it myself because then I know it's going to be done right. And because of that, it's just kind of like I am so quick to be like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do that. And then on top of that, we live in a hustle culture. They're like, if you work for yourself, then you need to be out here hustling. You need to have more than one more than one job. And I kind of internalized that a lot of 2021 and 2022. And now that we're in 2023, I'm just kind of like reevaluating some things because I'm like, I have been really tired to the point where it's just like, I need multiple days off to recover. And I'm not saying that self care is a bad thing. You should always be taking care of yourself. But it was one of those things for me where I was just like, if I work for myself, why is it that I am working so hard that I don't have time to do things that I actually want to do? Like, why is it that I'm working so hard that I don't have time to sit down and read a book because I am so mentally exhausted by the end of the day? Why is it that I am working so hard that I can't find time to like play video games because I'm like, is this really how I want to be spending my time? I could be taking a nap right now, you know? And I'm just gonna like 2023, I don't want to be doing that. And I don't say that to be like, oh, new year, new me, but like, no, like at the beginning of the year and at certain points throughout the year, I like to like reevaluate what I'm doing to make sure that it's effective and to make sure that I am still happy with it. And what I'm realizing is that I am not currently happy with my current situation with all that I'm doing. Because to be honest, I'm sure you guys saw that last writing vlog. And if you haven't, I mean, feel free to watch it. But one of the things that I was kind of unhappy with myself is the fact that I did not write as much as I wanted to. And it's like, I'm an author. That is the thing that comes first and foremost. And it's just like, I did not spend most of my time writing. I did not even meet all of my writing goals. And yeah, there are some like extraneous circumstances that come around the holidays or whatever. But I'm also like, I don't want to fall in this trap of making excuses for myself. Like, the reality of it is, I have spent the last 2 days just working on everything but writing because the reality of it is, when I have to make decisions about how I'm spending my time, 9 times out of 10, writing usually falls dead last because I'm like, I can do that anytime. I don't need to talk to people for that. I don't need to be a certain time of day for that. I can get up and write at 2 a.m. if that's what I want to do. And it's just kind of like, that's not realistic. That's not practical. It's just kind of like, I did a whole podcast episode talking about how you have to find your productivity. And I know what mine is. And it's just kind of like, to know it and not harness it. Like, that's on me. I have to own up to that. And I'm just kind of like, I don't want to spend the rest of this year trying to catch up to myself. I don't want to spend the rest of this year being so tired and trying to, quote unquote, find time for writing. I don't want to spend the majority of this year just being exhausted. So I was like, my come to Jesus moment is that I am going to have to severely cut back on the things that I am doing because, like I said, it's not that I am incapable of doing things. It is that I am actively choosing not to do some things. That's what I will say. So, if you are a supporter of the Melanin Library, you follow the Melanin Library, first of all, thank you so much. And second of all, expect like a decline in the social media. Like, I haven't really been on top of it since like 2021, because last year I was just like, this is a lot and I'm tired. And something that I am accepting about myself is the fact that I cannot run multiple social media accounts at one time. It is just not realistic for me with writing. And that's what I have to realize. Like, even though I'm capable, it's like, I can't do that in conjunction with the other things that I'm doing and still have the mental bandwidth to do everything that I want to do. So, in an effort to have a better work life balance and a better quality of life for myself, I'm just kind of like, I'm going to be cutting back on the things that don't need to take as much priority in my life as they have been taking. So for me, that looks like I'm absolutely going to keep writing because that's priority number one, always has been, and hopefully always will be. Priority number two is the podcast because I really enjoy doing the podcast. And priority number three is this YouTube channel because this is something that I enjoy doing that I did not do a lot of in 2022 because I was just like, I don't have time. And I'm just kind of like, this year I'm making time. I'm prioritizing the things that I want to do. And I am going to do my best to like release this hustle mentality that this culture, the society that we live in has cultivated in my brain, because it's just like, yes, money is great, but also I don't have to monetize every single activity that I do, or at least try to monetize. That's not what everything is about. And it's just like, I don't want to live all of 2023 that way. So that is like my come to Jesus moment. So if you see me around less on the internet, then that is why. If you kind of see me being more of my introverted self, that is why. I don't want to be tired this year. I want to be consistent with the things that I choose to create, and I don't want to be tired. I want to be able to do the things that I enjoy doing, and I want to be able to do them regularly, and I don't want to feel burnt out the entire year. Because truly, y'all, today is the 11th. Yesterday was the 10th, and I was so dog tired, and I'm like, it is only 10 days into the new year, and I didn't even start work until the 4th. So I'm working way too hard if I'm this tired where I feel like, okay, I need a break this early into the year. That's ridiculous. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So yeah, that is my come to Jesus moment. So since I am up early, I am going to finish posting to YouTube. I am going to go ahead and get my agenda ready for today because I do have some meetings with other people that are like non-negotiable, can't move them around on my calendar. So I'm going to try to get that done. And if you guys are not subscribed to the Melanin Library newsletter, I absolutely recommend that you do that. So I will leave a link in the description below, but you can always go to melaninlibrary.com, and at the bottom there is a little link that says mailing list that you can sign up for. But that is kind of it for me. I already have my coffee. I have a lot of just like general admin stuff that I have to do today, and then I'm going to write, and then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read this book. If you guys are on the channel, then you have probably seen my reading update, and I am currently reading this book, Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Samberry. The publishing company sent me a box, and I did an unboxing on the channel, and I've actually just been getting into it. I'm normally not an annotator, but I've started on this book. It is an ARC. This book comes out in February 2023, and I'm really excited. Like, I am enjoying this book, and that is another thing that kind of led me to this come to Jesus moment, because I'm like, yo, I want to sit down and like read this and like enjoy it. And I don't have time for that. That's a problem. So that's kind of what's going on over here. As I did before, I will try to keep you guys updated. My goal is to get consistent. Like, I am finally past chapter 6 in the story, and it's kind of interesting because book 2 is kind of taking on a completely different shape from book 1, and I'm excited about it, and I hope other people like it. If you want sneak peeks of book 2, I am sharing some little bits and pieces with my newsletter. So if you're not signed up for my newsletter, I recommend that you do that. You can sign up for both the Melanin Library and my newsletter at the same time. But if you just want my newsletter, I will leave a link for that in the description box below as well. But yeah, I am going to go ahead and get this day started. I hope you guys are doing well. If you're watching this, let me know how you're doing in the comments, what you're working on, so on and so forth. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Hey you guys, what's up? So I am back with another update. It is now January 12th, a little after 7:30, and I get to share with you the joys of being an indie author who sells direct. So if you guys follow me on TikTok or Twitter, then you'll know that yesterday on the 11th, I made a post like this. Hey you guys, what's up? If you've never seen me before, my name is Chelsea and I write books about black girls who aren't all that nice. This is my book. And I just need y'all to know that I did everything that I was supposed to do, right? I got orders for a limited edition. I placed an order for a limited edition so they could get here, I could sign them, and they could go out on time. And you know what they did? You know what they sent me? This. They sent me books with no dust jackets. So now I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to send them back? Are they going to send me dust jackets in the mail so I can add them myself? Or am I just supposed to have a limited edition on the website? I don't know. But if you're watching this and you would absolutely buy the limited edition without the dust jacket, let me know. Because apparently I got 16 books now. And, yeah, I can't do nothing with them, bruh. So I don't know. I don't know about this. So yeah, she's a little frustrated right now, but if you placed an order for the limited edition, expect an email from me soon explaining this. So yeah, that's my life update. How are you guys doing? You know? But yeah, that's it. Bye. And basically, I was just upset because I got a box full of naked hardcovers, and while that sounds great when you can take the cover off yourself, I need covers to sell with the books. So now this morning I have the lovely opportunity to go on Ingram Spark and submit a claim so that I can get the covers for my books sent to me. But also in a TikTok that I posted, I was like, hey, would y'all buy the book without the hardcovers? And some people said yes. So we're doing an experiment here. I am going to put the naked hardcovers up as a collector's edition because they would be collectors, because it's just like it's a misprint. I'm not intentionally printing any more of these, so if you want one, you're gonna have to get one while they last. If I sell the books before the covers get here, great, wonderful, because the object of the game is to move the books in the first place. If I don't, then the dust covers will come and I'll just ship them out to the people who have already purchased a copy of the book, who are waiting for a book with a cover, and I could just send them their book that these books are supposed to be in the first place. So we'll see how this works out, but I will let you guys know, because by the time that you guys actually see this on the internet, hopefully I will be out of the collector's edition. But if I'm not, feel free to go to my website and check to see if it's still there. But yeah, so that's it. That's the update. I'm going to go ahead and get into this, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written in Melanin channel. Wherever this day may have found you, I'm so glad that you are here. If you've never seen me before, my name is Chelsea and I write books about black girls who aren't all that nice. So this is I don't know if this is going to be another update in the vlog that I have already been recording, or if I'm just going to start the channel with this. So we'll see how this plays out. But basically, I wanted to make this video because I was just like, I have been recording for like the last week. Today is the 17th. So I've been recording all last week. And as I was kind of like thinking back on the footage, and I was like, okay, what am I going to be able to use? And, how things are going, I was just kind of like, I'm not really into it. And if you guys know anything about me, it's just kind of like I'm an all or nothing type of person, which means either I fully love and am committed to what I am doing, or I don't do it at all. I take this stance with my writing. So either, I love what I wrote and I move on, or I get rid of everything and I start over again. And I take the same approach to pretty much everything in my life. It's like, if I don't like what I have created, then I am not going to put it out. And so this last week of filming, I was just kind of like, I don't know if I like it. And part of the reason I felt that way is because, I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was, I don't want to say worth anything, because that sounds kind of harsh, but I feel like it was very vague, and that's not really what I want this to be. I want it to be like a part of my journey. And the reality of it is, last week, I didn't do a whole lot, and it's not necessarily that. It's more so I didn't actually talk about it. I didn't do anything worth recording. There was no point to any of the things that I was saying on camera. And I was just like, you know what? This is really not the vibe that I'm going for. I don't want to be recording just for the sake of saying that I recorded and that I did a vlog. So this video is, I don't know if I'm going to call it like a hard reset, but it's just kind of like a reset for me and for my mind, and to kind of be clear and transparent, I guess, because I think the other issue that I had was just that I was trying very hard to not like say anything or be super committal on camera, because I'm like, I change my mind a lot, and that is just who I am. I think I'm going to do one thing, and then I'm like, yeah, gung ho, let's do this. And then I'm like, yeah, no, we're not. It's not realistic. It's not practical. This is out of hand. And so it got to a point where I was just like, you know what? I'm not actually saying anything. I'm not actually talking about my book. I'm not actually, documenting things the way that I want to. So as of this moment, I do want to update you guys about some things about my book. And I just realized that, there are some things that they are what they are, So that being said, I'm going to be a little less afraid to just say things on camera, and just know that if I change my mind later on, I will let you know that I changed my mind, and we will all have it on record, right? But that being said, a couple of things about the story. I think I mentioned in a previous clip, I don't know if it's one that I've actually uploaded or not, but if you guys have been following me, you'll know that I announced that the title for book 2 is going to be We Are the Rebellion. Well, here's the thing about writing. As I started writing the book, I was like, We Are the Rebellion doesn't really work for the title. So as of right now, the book two's title has changed, and as of right now, it is going to be We Are Dying Gods. And I just like that title a lot better. I feel like if people come across that title and they have no idea that it's, connected to a sequel, that is something that's going to make them be like, what is this? And I feel like it fits a little bit more with the theme of what book 2 is actually about. Because if you read book 1, and I'm not going to spoil anything, so I just recommend that you do go read it, because I like it and other people seem to like it, which is pretty cool. In book 1, the protagonist is Brandy. She's an assassin, and she is working with her other assassin friends to basically try to do the will of the gods. And part of that is abandoning the queendom that they serve in order to protect a lost princess. And, things start to go left as the problems start to stack up left and right. And writing that story was really, I don't know, I'll say this. Book 1, We Are the Origin, was really the book of my heart. I have been sitting on it for a long time. I have rewritten it multiple times to try to get it right. And it's just one of those things that I am really proud of book 1, and I want to be really proud of book 2. And because of that, I have set like these deadlines to try to be like, okay, I learned from book 1 that I need a certain amount of time to be able to do things the way that I want to. And I was just like, okay, in order to do that, I need to have this book written by March 21st, which is a challenge for me, because when I was writing book 1, like, I didn't have any other books out. No one was waiting for it to come out. So I had all the time that I needed to take to get it done. If I needed to push something back, I could just push something back. But book 2, obviously people have read book one and they're waiting for it. And I'm just kind of like, if I'm going to be professional, if I'm going to be a full-time author, if I'm going to really take this seriously, then I need to take this seriously. And so I've been putting this pressure on myself to like get this second draft written, but my process is really slow. And I know that about myself, but I'm also like, I am challenging myself to like kind of speed it up, get it a little bit snappier, get it a little bit more precise so that it doesn't take me 2 years to write a book, because I really don't want to be the type of author where I promise a sequel or I promise a series, but then it takes like 10 years to get all of the books, you know? I really want to be like every year you're getting a book from me. That is my goal. Like, I can't promise that I'm going to be one of those authors where it's like every quarter you've got a book, every 3 months I'm dropping something. I can't do that. My process is not that fast. The way I do things is not like that. However, I do want to make sure that at least once a year, like, you're getting a full length novel that is like, okay, yeah, it was worth waiting for this. This satisfied what I wanted. And I'm trying to make sure that book two is that. And it's just been kind of an up and down struggle, because my mind is just kind of like, I need this chapter to be right. And I have been going back and forth with it. You guys know that the last episode of this vlog was just literally me being like, why can I not write chapter 6? And I have pretty much gotten past that. I think I have done some like handwriting in order to like kind of refocus my mind and, you know, get it where I want it to be. So my goal for today, Tuesday, January 17th, right? My goal is to get at least 3,000 words written, mostly because I've been putting things off, and also because I know that I'm capable of writing that much, and I'm like, I want to get consistent. I can't say that I'm going to write every day, but I do want to do this week. I want to accomplish writing at least 3 days this week. Like, my minimum goal is writing 3 days this week, and I mean like actually writing. I'm not saying like, oh, I got 500 words. Like, for me, 500 words is not like an actual goal, right? And I know that about myself. So it's like, for me, I want to get at least 1,500 words. If I get at least 1,500 words, then that is a writing session. That's something that I can count for myself and be like, okay, I made real progress towards the end goal of completing this story. So I want to write at least 3 times this week, minimum, ideally 4 times. And it's just kind of like, part of that is I know I have to sit down and focus and like reprioritize my time, because for whatever reason, writing always seems to be the thing that falls to the wayside, because I'm like, okay, if I want to get up at 2 a.m. and write, I can do that. But, you know, sending emails or talking to people or having meetings, yada, 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 all of that has to be done during business hours. But I'm like, I am most productive during business hours. So it's just kind of like, I'm going to have to reprioritize my time, and I'm going to have to start saying no. And I'm going to have to start, you know, actually being like, hey, this time is sacred. Like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll just do this some other time. So that being said, something that I know about myself, and if you haven't heard me talk about this on the Written in Melanin podcast, then be sure to go listen to that episode. I'm not sure when it'll come out. It is going to be episode 34, where I talk about finding your productivity. And part of it that I mentioned in that podcast episode is that, you know, you have to find the best time to write for you. And I know that for me, that's like 11 a.m. I know this about myself. So it is like 10:30 right now. So my goal is to, for the next hour and a half, I just want to write. I just want to write. I want to be consistent, and I want to get these words in. And that way I'm like, you know, an hour and a half, that's noon. Then I can handle the rest of the day. And I'm like, if I can't handle the rest of my responsibilities, you know, from 12 to 5, then I should probably, you know, reevaluate how many responsibilities I'm taking on in the first place. But that being said, I did want to make that update. So I also wanted to mention some of the stuff that I have been reading, because I was going back and forth with myself, like, do I want to do a separate reading vlog? And the answer is no. This is it. This is the vlog for the channel. So, but as a writer, I can't sit here and pretend like I don't read things. I am not reviewing these books, but I do want to mention them because they are helping to shape kind of like my writing right now. So the first thing that I'm reading is A Phoenix First Must Burn by Patrice Caldwell. This came out in, I want to say, like 2019, 2020. March 2020, actually, it's on the back. So I have an arc of this book that I never read, and it was sent to me in a book box. Like, it was just included in like a whole bunch of books that I won. So it's not like I had to like read it or review it or anything like that. But I have been actually reading this because I have never really gotten into anthologies, but I have been invited to write in two of them this year, and I was just like, you know what, let me read some anthologies before I actually decide to commit to this. And obviously I know what an anthology is, but I have never really gotten into them, and so I was just like, before I commit to writing in it, let me read some. So I've been reading this one, A Phoenix First Must Burn, which, if you don't know, this came out March 2020, and it's by a bunch of popular Black YA authors like Elizabeth Acevedo, Danielle Clayton, L.L. McKinney, Justina Ireland, Rebecca Roanhorse, Karen Strong, Ashley Woodfolk. Like, it's got a lot of popular YA names in here. And as I have been reading this, I have come to a couple of conclusions. Mostly, yeah, this one's not for me. I think I've read two stories in here that I really, really do like, and the rest of them I'm just kind of like, this does not have my attention. I am not interested. I am not invested. No, thank you. No, thank you. So not going to talk too much about it, because part of the reason that I wasn't sure about doing a reading vlog in the first place is because I am kind of harsh when it comes to books and things that entertain me, and I don't want to like bash any Black authors on this channel, but all I read are Black authors, and it's just like I have a very high standard for my own personal entertainment, and so yeah, that's this whole separate conversation. But what I have been learning is that because I only really like a couple of stories out of this anthology, what I've been learning is that, you have to grab your reader from the first sentence, because in an anthology you are literally up against all of these other really talented authors, and you want people to stop and read your story because they don't have to, they could just go to the next one, right? And then there's also this idea that you have to write your story well enough to blend and to go with the flow of the rest of the anthology, but it also has to be distinct enough that people remember your story and want to read it. And you also want people to go find your full writings, right? Like, you're trying to make a fan out of this anthology. For me, Elizabeth Acevedo, her short story in this makes me glad that I have this book. I really enjoyed hers. I have With the Fire on High on my bookshelf, and I never picked it up. And I know people swear by Elizabeth Acevedo. I just never picked up any of her books. I will now, because of the short story that I read in this book. And I realized that that is something that I want to be able to do with my own writing. I want people to pick up my stories and pick up my books and be like, this was really good. What else does she have? So been reading this one, which has been really helpful. And then the second one that I've been reading is this one, Africa Risen. And this one, shout out to Resist Booksellers, because if you guys didn't watch the last update, I got to stop by, I got to meet the owner, Demetrius, and I bought this book while I was there. And this is an adult sci-fi. So A Phoenix First Must Burn is YA fantasy. This is adult sci-fi fantasy. And I don't really know any of the authors in this anthology, but the difference between these two anthologies, because this is also a collection of short stories and it's an anthology collection, right? The difference between these two books is amazing. This one, objectively, is good. This one, objectively, is something that I would recommend. If you like adult sci-fi fantasy, you need to pick up this book. You need to get into it. You need to read it, because I have not come across a short story so far in this book that I've been like, I don't want to read it. I'm skipping over it. I'm not interested. And that's saying something, because like I said, I have a very high standard for being entertained. And I am quick with books to be like, it's not for me, DNF. I have a whole shelf of books where I'm just like, yeah, no, these are going to my local library because I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to read them. So that being said, this book, really good, and it's kind of helping me conceptualize my writing a little bit, because it's just kind of like, this is what I want to be able to do. This is the type of skill, the type of craft that I want to be able to embody with my writing. I want to be able to give descriptions like this. I want to be able to pull the reader into the story like this. I want to be able to paint a world like this, and because they're short stories, it's just like, it's that much more impactful. Like, what is their level of skill when they don't have a word count? So far I have read several of these stories. The first one started with The Blue House. Currently I am on IRL by Stephen Barnes,
haven't read it, but it's just kind of like, even from the very beginning, it's just like the worlds that these people are painting are incredible. And I'm like, this is the type of skill that I want to embody. So would recommend that you pick this up if you like black sci-fi fantasy, and if you're on this channel, I'm assuming that you do. So would recommend this one as a purchase. I will link it to Resist Booksellers because that's where I got mine. It's a black-owned bookstore based out of Virginia, and the owner is Matt Cole. So shop indie when you can. So yeah, but knowing that, I'm just kind of like, it's been one of those things on my mind where it's just like I mentioned with anthologies, like when you're in an anthology, you're up against all these other amazing authors, right? And for me, I'm like, well, it's the same thing with traditionally published books or regular novels, right? Like you are going to be up against all of these other authors. Like your goal as an author is to entertain someone enough that they want to read your book from start to finish instead of picking up a book from someone else. And I feel like that is the challenge. That is the challenge to be better than yourself. And it's a challenge to want to entertain and to satisfy your reader. And I feel like that is my motivation for writing. And I'm just kind of like in this moment where I'm just kind of like, why have I not been prioritizing this? What have I been doing? And the thing is, I know what I've been doing. I have been working on the Melanin Library. I have been, trying to do the podcast. I've been vlogging, obviously. And I'm just kind of like, vlogging is only interesting if I do what I say that I'm going to do. So, that being said, I know this was kind of like a longish talking point. So, if you stuck it out, thank you. You're the GOAT. Drop a thumbs up in the comments so that I know that you actually watched the whole thing. And I am actually going to write, and hopefully, I'll remember to record myself writing so that I have some B roll to insert before I start talking to you guys again. So, yeah. I hope you guys are being as productive as you would like to be today, and I will check in with you later today to let you know whether I succeeded or failed in actually getting my writing done. But hopefully I succeed. I'm going to claim success. But yeah, bye. All right, you guys. So, as promised, I am back with an update, and I am happy to say that Chapter 6 has been written and Ben has approved of it. So, I feel a great weight has been lifted off my chest, but now I'm also like, crap, I gotta write Chapter 7. So, here we go. Back to the beginning, I guess. But I'm really glad that it's done. I am really satisfied with this chapter. If you are signed up for my newsletter, then you got a little taste of it, a little sneakish peek of one of my favorite lines from chapter 6. And that's something that I plan to keep doing. So if you're not signed up for my newsletter, like slight plug to do that. But yeah. Chapter 6 is done. Chapter 7, I'll start tomorrow. And I'm tired. It has taken me literally all day from like 11 o'clock this morning until right about now, like 6:30, to like really be done and be like, it's accomplished. So there's that. I have nothing else to say, so I want to go.
Hey y'all, so it is now January 19th and it's a little after 9:30 p.m. and here for like a little quick update. I have a lot on my plate today. I am doing writing sprints at 11 o'clock and Jessica Cage is going to be joining me, which I am really excited about. I was on her podcast, More Than a Plot Point, And when we talked on it, we just kind of clicked, and we've been kind of chatting off screen. But yeah, so she's also writing today, so we were like, hey, you can like join my sprints. So she's going to be doing sprints with me today. So this morning so far, I went ahead and got that set up, and then I have already gone to update the Melanin library, so there should be more books in there by the time that you are seeing this. So if there were any books that came out in January that you're like, oh, these are on the Melanin library, hopefully they got added and you can get your books from there if that's what you would like to do. Other things on my list for to do today, I have a whole calendar over here. And what else is on this list? Oh, exciting. So my audiobook files are like done. So I have to go in and improve the last of them. But assuming that everything goes swimmingly, then my audiobook for We Are the Origin will be done. And that will be available hopefully at the latest February. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to try to get that done. And yeah, it feels kind of like a busy day. Like I said, it's a little after 9:30, so I just finished the Melanin library. I'm going to go ahead and check my emails because I know that the longer the day goes on, the more likely I'm not to get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then take a little break to grab myself some food and then try to get as much done as I can before I have to hop on these writing sprints. So that's my update. Also, I did not write yesterday. I had a lot going on, so I didn't. But my goal for today is to obviously get as many words in as possible, but I'm aiming for a goal of 3,000 words today. And I'm just kind of like, if I hit that, then I am going to treat myself to some luxury coffee, which is basically what I call my decaf that I get from this coffee shop that is like, it's expensive coffee, but it's good and it makes me happy. So if I reach my goal, I am rewarding myself. So hopefully that happens. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this update. And let me know what you're working on. And I will check in with you guys later. And you're not watching this in real time, but if you do hang around my channel, hopefully I'll see you in the writing sprints in a couple hours. So yeah, bye. Hey you guys, so final update for today. It's a little after 10:30, something like that. But the good news is I accomplished pretty much all of my goals that I had today. So I did write and I got 3,200 and some odd words. So that's good. I finished chapter 7 in the sprints that I did today. So I feel really accomplished about that. Like I didn't finish it in the sprints, but I started the sprints and then I finished today. So feeling really accomplished with that. I'm going to sleep on it, review it tomorrow, and then go ahead and start working on chapter 8 because I am massively behind where I want to be in order to have this draft done. So my goal is to go ahead and keep this momentum going for as long as I can. So there's that. And I also, oh, my arm is tired. Okay, I can't do this. I'm not physically fit enough to do a vlog like this. I really need a camera stand. Anyway, I got my audiobook files back. So if you guys wanted an audio version of We Are the Origin, that is going to be out in the world soon. And I'm really excited about that. I did not get to do the newsletters. Yeah, but I wrote. I wrote and I got to treat myself to expensive coffee, and that is what matters at the end of the day. So, as you can probably tell, I'm tired. So I am going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to read a little bit more in Delicious Monsters, and then I'm going to bed. So I hope you guys were productive, but yeah, that is it for this update, for this vlogging session. Thank you guys for following along with me on this journey, and yeah, that is it. I will talk to you guys in the next video. So until next time, you guys, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye.